You find a village that isn't on any map. The people greet you with warm smiles, but something is off. The next morning, you try to leave, and you end up right back where you started. Welcome to the Forgotten Village. I should have never left the main road. I tell myself this now, over and over, but in that moment, it felt like a small decision, just a detour. I had been hiking through the Carpathian Mountains, exploring the less traveled trails in Romania, chasing an experience few tourists dared to seek. I wasn't lost, not yet. The morning had started fine. My map marked a path leading back to a nearby town before sunset, but the storm rolled in faster than expected. Thick, gray clouds swallowed the sky, and the first raindrops hit my skin like cold needles. Then I saw it. A narrow cobblestone path, half covered in moss and dead leaves, barely visible between the trees. It led downward, winding through the mist, vanishing into the shadow of the forest. It wasn't on my map. It shouldn't have been there. I hesitated. I could turn back and risk getting caught in the downpour, or I could follow the path and hope it led somewhere safe. Lightning split the sky. Thunder rolled over the hills. I chose the path. I walked for nearly an hour, the storm thickening behind me. The deeper I went, the more unnatural the silence became. No birds, no wind, just the sound of my boots against the old stones. And then, without warning, the forest opened. The village stood there, waiting. At first glance, the village looked like something out of a storybook. Old stone houses with steep wooden roofs, narrow dirt paths weaving between them, and fields of golden wheat stretching toward the misty hills. A tall wooden church stood in the center, its bell tower looming against the storm-darkened sky. But something was off. The air smelled strange, a mix of damp earth and something faintly metallic. The houses had no visible signs of modern life, no power lines, no satellite dishes, no cars. Smoke rose from chimneys, but the streets were empty. I stepped forward cautiously, boots sinking into the mud. That's when I saw them, the villagers. They appeared all at once, emerging from doorways and side streets, watching me in absolute silence. Men and women, all dressed in simple, old-fashioned clothing, long coats, linen shirts, woolen skirts. Some had faces lined with age, others looked barely older than teenagers. Yet there was something unnatural about them, something I couldn't name. Then, as if on cue, they smiled. A traveler, an older man said, stepping forward. His Romanian was thickly accented, his voice deep and measured. "You were lost, yes?" I swallowed, suddenly aware of how dry my throat was. Yes, I was hiking and got caught in the storm. I didn't know this village was here. The man's smile never wavered. Few do. The way he said it sent a shiver through me. Another villager, a woman with gray-streaked hair, stepped beside him. "You must be cold, Dragomea," she said warmly. "You will stay, yes? Just for the night. We have food, a warm fire." I hesitated. I needed to leave, to find a way back to the main road. But the storm behind me growled with another deep roll of thunder. "All right," I said. "Just for the night." The villagers nodded in unison, as if they had expected that answer. As if I had never had a choice. They led me to a small house near the center of the village. The inside was warm, lit only by a single lantern. Thick rugs covered the wooden floor, and the scent of burning herbs lingered in the air. An old woman, who introduced herself as Anka, brought me soup and bread. "Eat," she said, watching closely. "It will help." I was too hungry to refuse. The soup was thick, rich with unfamiliar spices. As I ate, I asked the question that had been gnawing at me since I arrived. "What is this place?" Anka's expression darkened slightly. "A home," she said simply. "A place where time moves gently." Something about the way she said it made my stomach twist. I changed the subject. "There's no road leading here. How do you get supplies?" The villagers exchanged looks. Then Anka smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "We have everything we need." I wanted to press further, but exhaustion weighed on me like a heavy blanket. My limbs ached. My eyelids drooped. I barely remember Anka guiding me to a small bed in the corner. "Rest now, Copolomeo. Tomorrow, you will understand." Understand what? I wanted to ask, but the room was spinning, my thoughts sinking into blackness. And then, Just before sleep claimed me, I heard it a whisper, soft and distant, calling my name. I woke to the sound of bells. Low and heavy, they rang from the church tower, vibrating through the walls of the small house. For a moment, I forgot where I was. Then the events of yesterday rushed back, the storm, the village, the way they looked at me like I was expected. I sat up, rubbing my eyes. The small room was dim, the lantern extinguished. Outside, muffled voices murmured in unison. Chanting. I stepped to the window, heart pounding. The villagers had gathered in the square. They stood in a perfect circle, facing inward. In the center, a stone altar sat beneath the shadow of the church, its surface covered in strange carvings. The villagers were dressed differently now, robes of deep crimson, embroidered with symbols that seemed to shift when I looked too long. I should have left right then. Instead, I stayed, watching. A lone figure stepped forward. The village elder, the man who greeted me yesterday. His arms were raised, his voice rising with the bells. The villagers echoed him in perfect unison, speaking words in a language I didn't recognize. Then the elder turned, and his gaze locked directly onto mine. A slow, deliberate smile spread across his face. I stumbled backward from the window. A sharp knock sounded at the door. "Wake up, traveler," Anka's voice called. "Today is a special day." I forced my breathing to steady. I needed to act normal, pretend I didn't see anything. I opened the door. Anka stood there, smiling as if nothing was wrong. Behind her, the villagers were dispersing, returning to their homes as if the ritual had never happened. "The festival is tonight," she said warmly. "You must join us." I didn't answer. I couldn't. Something was very, very wrong with this village. I had to leave. As soon as Anka left, I packed my bag and stepped outside, acting as casual as I could. The village was quiet now, almost normal. The sun had risen, and the mist had cleared. I made my way toward the forest, retracing my steps from yesterday. The path was still there, the same old cobblestone trail I had followed in. I forced my legs to move faster, resisting the urge to run. But then, after walking for nearly an hour, I stepped out of the trees and into the village square. I froze. My breath caught in my throat. I turned. Looked behind me. The same path stretched back into the woods, winding into the mist. I had walked in a straight line, but I was back where I started. The villagers were waiting. They stood in doorways and along the streets, silent and watching, waiting for me to understand. It didn't matter where. Down narrow alleys, past empty houses, through fields of golden wheat. The village twisted around me like a living thing, reshaping itself no matter which way I turned. Every road led back to the square. Every path ended where it began. I stopped, panting, my hands on my knees. The villagers stood in the distance, watching, not moving, not speaking, just waiting. A voice broke the silence. "You cannot leave." I turned. The village elder stood a few feet away, hands folded in front of him, his expression patient, like a teacher explaining something simple to a child. "There is no road beyond this place," he said. "There never was." I took a step back. "That's not possible. I came here from where?" He interrupted. I opened my mouth. Stopped. Where had I come from? The memory was there, but when I reached for it, it slipped through my fingers like smoke. The name of the last town I had visited, the route I had taken, the place I had planned to return to, gone. The elder smiled. "The festival begins soon," he said. "You should prepare." Then he turned and walked away, leaving me standing there, my pulse thundering in my ears that I wasn't just trapped in this village. It was already pulling me in. The festival began at sunset. The entire village gathered in the square, dressed in their ceremonial robes. The altar at the church's steps had been covered with fresh flowers and burning incense. I was led to the center. The elder spoke in that same strange language, his voice rising with the wind. The villagers echoed him, their chanting vibrating through my bones. I tried to run, but hands grasped my arms, holding me in place. "The cycle must be completed," the elder intoned. "The one who arrives must take the place of the one who departs." A hooded figure stepped forward. They removed their hood, and I saw my own face staring back at me. not a twin, not a lookalike. Me. Older, weary, eyes filled with something ancient and broken. This is how it happens, the other me whispered. You were chosen, just like I was. The villagers began to hum, low and deep, as the air thickened around me. The carvings on the altar pulsed with a dull, golden light. The cycle, the ritual, the unbroken loop. I refused. I lunged forward, grabbing the ceremonial dagger from the elder's hands. Before anyone could react, I slashed the blade across my palm, letting my blood spill onto the altar. The villagers screamed, the ground trembled, and then everything went black. I woke up in the forest. The village was gone. No houses, no roads, just trees stretching endlessly in every direction. The air smelled clean, fresh pine, damp earth, no trace of incense or burning herbs. I stumbled forward, my legs weak, my head pounding. After hours of walking, I found a road, a real one. A car passed, then another. I flagged one down. The driver, a middle-aged man, rolled down his window, eyes wide with concern. Jesus, where the hell did you come from? He asked. You all right? I opened my mouth to answer, then stopped. I caught my reflection in his side mirror. The face staring back wasn't mine. It was older, by decades. No one remembered me. The town I had left, the one I had been traveling from, didn't exist. My name wasn't in any records. My passport, my ID, my phone, gone. It was as if I had never been. I tried to go back, tried to retrace my steps to the village, but the path was gone. The village never existed, except in my dreams, because at night, when I close my eyes, I hear them chanting, calling for me to return, waiting for the cycle to begin again. The village may have disappeared, but it's still waiting for someone new. Could it be you? Would you stay in the forgotten village or try to escape? Comment below, subscribe for more horror stories. Like if this gave you chills. Turn on notifications before it's too late.